are talking 1978's Satan's Blood, also known as Don't Panic, although they are the English translations of this Spanish movie. The Spanish pronunciation I won't attempt because it will just be a disaster. And this is directed by Carlos Buerto, who also wrote the movie, and also co-directed by Jean-Pierre Simon. And this follows a couple who are very much in love, and they're out and about doing things. But they are kind of approached by a second couple who claims to know the original couple. And after kind of a little bit of kind of back and forth, they all kind of agree to go to this the second couple's like large stately house for kind of a few drinks. And our kind of protagonist couple, so to speak, they're thinking, I don't really recognise these guys, but they say they know me, so maybe I've kind of forgotten. It was a long time ago, that kind of stuff. And we go back to this kind of stately house, and there is some occult stuff lying around, and inevitably things turn to discussions of otherworldly subjects, and we learn that this couple that have tempted our protagonist to this house may well actually be devil worshippers and have cruel intent. What'll happen? You have to watch the movie and find out. So this movie came out just after Spain relaxed its kind of laws on what you could kind of show on film at that time. As such, filmmakers took advantage, having a lot more explicit kind of content on cinema. So this movie does have a hell of a lot of nudity and kind of somewhat realistic, simulated kind of sex scenes. So if you like lots of kind of naked flesh in your horror movies, this one is definitely for you. And I've got to say, it does kind of suit this weird kind of perverse satanic kind of narrative that the kind of the movie it really kind of is kind of weaving here. I have to say the movie does have a somewhat of a disturbing feel to it, because you do feel that it's kind of somewhat unrestrained in what it's kind of showing you, that the depravity that these kind of Satanists are trying to kind of do. They'll just do anything that they want, and be it kind of perverse or sacrificial or anything kind of sort of which is against kind of religion and such. And as such, we get quite a variety of kind of situations that happen, from eating pretty hardcore stuff, from eating our couple's dog, to orgies, to burning pictures of Jesus, to all sorts of stuff. So although this movie is not exactly an action-packed film, and we don't have a lot in regards to sort of special effects and creatures and that sort of stuff, the movie still manages to have, I've got to say, a somewhat of a disturbing and kind of otherworldly feel to it, because certainly the characters that are kind of devil worshipper types are they such a kind of bizarre performance, and I've got to say, in some respects they seem quite welcoming, but there's definitely something amiss there. And I've got to say, I really kind of enjoyed the kind of the weird kind of kookiness that these sort of characters kind of had. And when we do see them doing kind of things that are, a little bit kind of, let's just say, off kilter, it's done in a way that I think really is somewhat disturbing at times. I think the location shooting here is fabulous, and the kind of the set decoration, and there are some elements here that I feel genuinely do go into some quite adult kind of style, not just kind of with the nudity and stuff, but with the kind of the religious iconography as well. The movie's not one which has huge amounts of plot, to be honest with you, but I do think what we do have is still kind of quite an interesting idea, although it's somewhat kind of straightforward in regards to kind of what happens. What's my main critique with this movie? I think the couple that are our protagonists, our kind of point of view characters, just seem incredibly dumb. I mean, there's stuff that they kind of see and experience here that they just don't question, or they'll question for 5 minutes and then totally kind of disregard. I mean, anyone in their right mind who sort of sees this kind of stuff would be a little bit more kind of freaked out by it. So, unfortunately, our main protagonist just seem so detached from kind of a realistic portrayal of people. That's the problem. You really can't latch onto them as necessarily believable kind of characters, and therefore you have the trouble in kind of really rooting for them. I've got to say as well, it tipped its hand a little bit early in regards to what's actually going to happen. The movie offers no real surprises. You can pretty much, you know, guess what's going to happen from within the first kind of like 5 minutes of the movie, where it's going to kind of end up on its own. So narratively, it's a very, very kind of basic film, but it does work with a good sense of kind of atmosphere. You know, I quite like the kind of the music and the kind of that sort of thing, and I think it's an interesting film for those of you who kind of devil worship style movies. I wish the plot had been a little bit more more to it, to be honest, because it just seems a little bit kind of small in scale, and our protagonists seem so unrealistic in regards to the acting's not so bad necessarily, but just the way they're kind of written is quite poor. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.